Made it through another one. Happy Friday, everybody. In that brief interlude of silence, my mind briefly traveled to picturing how we never know how, and we never know who our example going to impact and or affect. So it's time to really be paying close attention to ourselves at this time in our journey. I say that because beautiful things are happening during painful situations for some strange reason. That won't resonate with everybody, but to a lot of people who dealing with their shadow, the deeper, darker self, doing the required inner work necessary according to what your shadow has revealed to you, then this will resonate with you and vibrate with you clearly and authentically. And when I say authentic, being authentic, that means being honest. Your best you gonna be your honest self. Your authentic you gonna be your honest you. So when I say authentically me, I'm honestly me. Beautiful things happen all the time in painful situations. I'm realizing this more and more, but it's not a realization for me. I'm happy to see. It's a realization for me to be able to witness others realize it as they actualize themselves. For those who don't put certain things in practice that I have shared, they are seeing the fruits of that work. They're seeing the difference in their vibration. They're feeling improvements in their emotions. They're having more vitality in their energy. Beautiful things happen all the time in painful situations. Why did I repeat that 3 times? Because what I'll say afterward is of grave importance. Because it's how well we recognize the lessons in painful situations that determine how we make it of benefit for ourselves and others. When it pertains to our growth, when it pertains to our maturity, when it pertains to our emotional health, and when it pertains to our physical well-being. And coming in and doing the shadow work, we learn the things that we have allowed to influence us and worse, for worse than better. In doing the shadow work, we learn to change those situations and be more mindful that the things that we come against, or the things that we have to face, or the situations that we find ourselves in, no matter what happens, we allow it to affect us for better than worse. We're learning to watch what we eat. What do I mean by that? Life is teaching us to watch what we eat. Has a good diet. Before I go into that, I want to say this. A good diet has way much more to do with than what we eat. I'm gonna say it again. A good diet has way much more than to do with what we eat. And one more time, a good diet has way much more to do with than what we eat. Now that it has saturated, you might say, well, damn, what does Sabu mean by that? Well, if you've been rocking with me enough, y'all know I'm gonna tell you. Cause I'm not here to play mind games with nobody mind frame. But I am gonna speak my truth the way I speak it. And if you've been rocking with me long enough and you rock with me sincerely and accept me for who I am, as you see yourself in me, then you already know that it need not to be explained. If you're new, then welcome. We got to learn to watch what we eat. Life has taught us that. Doing the shadow work is teaching us that. And as I said previously, we can never not get enough shadow work. It's always something to improve about us. It's always something to enhance about us. Does that mean something is wrong with us? No. But it's always something that we can make better. And the more we learn to watch what we eat, the more we'll be able to do that and control this avatar and manipulate our realities, as we truly see fit and desire, instead of wishing for the desire to see and fit into our reality. We can control our reality the way that we want when we learn to watch what we eat. Once we learn to watch what we eat, then we have to learn to watch who we feed. This is Bible scripture that says, don't cast your jewels among swine. In other places, they'll say, you can't rescue a snake because the snake will turn around and bite you. But in the Bible, it say, don't cast your jewels among swine. But after you watch what you eat, you learn to watch you learn who to feed. But whatever we eat, we start to believe. So I can't be talking about food, could I? By now, some of us have realized he can't be talking about food. And you're correct. I'm not talking about food. If you want to know what's jumping into you, jumping into your spaceship. We want to know what's coming into our spaceship, our avatar, our uniform, whatever we want to call it. We don't thought of creative ways to talk about this body that we in. But if you want to know what's jumping into your spaceship, we have to be more aware of what we putting into it. So when I say things in the way that only Sabu gonna say them, like watch what you eat, I'm never talking about things in the material realm. I'm always going beyond the beyond. So if you want to go beyond the beyond, you're gonna have to train. You're gonna have to train your mind and program your mind to get beyond what you can see, taste, touch, and feel. If you want to know what's jumping into your spaceship, be more aware of what you're putting into it. So I'm talking about what we hear, what we see, and what we observe, and how we allow it to affect, influence, impact us. And doing the shadow work help us discern these things. Doing shadow work help us to get in a place where we want truth and nothing but truth. And if things ain't presenting themselves as truth and nothing but truth, then we learn to not. We have a less desire to have anything to want to do with it. I'm talking to somebody. Because when we want truth and nothing but truth, amazing things start to happen. Let me be the one to tell you. Because I've been through hell. Like a lot of us don't been through hell. But a lot of us are not bold enough and able to step into the courage to speak about the hell that we don't been through. So that gives me an opportunity to be of service for a certain part of humanity and a certain part of the community that may find itself or yourself come across this page and seeing resonance in the vibrational frequency that I emanate and where you are in your journey at this particular time. I don't have no problem with speaking about the hell I've been to because I made it back, and therefore I got something to share. That's my point. Shadow work will help us be able to do that. Shadow work will help us step into that triumph. Shadow work will help us step into that victory by going into the grotesque parts of myself that was ugly, you know, and that's gruesome. And doing what's necessary, doing the necessary transmutation, first facing and accepting, you know, and adjusting to the reality that, you know, I made my reality, most of it, from this place. And then doing the necessary work in the dark, despised places that we don't like to go into in ourselves, and doing what's necessary to shift those things, improve those things, and help enhance those things, and advance those things. Yeah. What do you pay attention to? What do you listen to? What do you allow? What do you allow in your mind and in your heart through the things that you observe, see, and hear? How do you allow what you hear and see determine how you feel? What do you do with the feelings after you have allowed them into your mental world? We got to know what deserves our attention and what doesn't. You know? We'll take something we don't saw in the street or on the news or somewhere else, allow it to get into our mental, emotional space, and go start some ruckus, some recklessness with it somewhere else and those close around us. But at the same time, we can take the whole total opposite energy. Something loving, something beautiful, something joyous, something positive, and go contaminate everybody that we come into contact with. We need to pay attention to what deserves our attention and what doesn't, what we allow to contaminate our energy field. Our energy field is our force field. It's gonna protect us. It's gonna protect us too. That's what it's meant to do. So we gotta be knowing what we letting in. We in a space where what we digest mentally and emotionally is more important than what we eating, or has just as much important as what we eating. Know what deserves your attention and what doesn't. Because what we put ourselves through, from my observation, when I go beyond and beyond, and I look at it from a divine eye view, what we put ourselves through, way more worse than what we actually be going through. Give me a thumbs up, man, if it's talking to you. You know, what we put ourselves through be way worse than what we actually going through. And until you put yourself in the mystery to see the story, we don't even have no idea that this is what we be doing to ourselves. And then we run around here talking about, man, I'm creating my own reality. I'm creating my own reality. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But then in actuality, we create a reality that we really not happy with, that we really uncomfortable about, that we really can't find pleasure in after we don't create them. Hug yourself today if you haven't. It's part of the shadow work. Being able to be kind to yourself. Being able to love yourself. Being able to hug yourself. Whether it's others around you that can hug you or not. Because everybody not in the company of others. Some people may be watching this who reside by themselves. Give yourself a hug today. Breathe deep and give yourself a hug today. I ain't here to tell y'all to do this, and I ain't here to tell y'all to do that. I ain't here to tell y'all to eat this, and I'm not here to tell y'all to eat that. What I will say is, go inside, find your map, and follow it. Stillness and abundance, love and light, health and wholeness to one and to all. Wherever you find yourself, as you find yourself. Thanks for the likes, shares, comments, new subscribers. Thank you for the donations. My Cash App is Salud to God at Cash App. For those who want to send me a Cash App, I appreciate the donations. Allow the universe to put you in position. It's inside you. Feel good for no reason at all. Peace and love. Salud to God.